All right, welcome back to another JNCIE-SP video. Last video, we learned about aggregated Ethernet channels. We were working through an example. So there was some question as to what they mean in the curriculum by fault detection. My experience, if you looked me up on LinkedIn, is mostly in an ISP environment. I have 5 years of experience working for an ISP. And I will tell you from my experience, OAM is a big part of what happens in a service provider. You got to prove that you are providing the service and that you're providing it to the levels agreed upon by the customer. So that's done through OAM. So OAM is a big part of what happens during a service provider. So I don't think it's a good idea for me to just gloss it over and not give it at least a little bit of time. I probably don't need to give it as much time as I would give other topics because I have a lot of experience real world on the job setting it up. So I know what a MIP and a MEP is, and I know what a so this is like IPLA stuff if you're from IPSLA stuff if you're from Cisco land. It's just measuring the circuit to make sure that you're not having frame loss, jitter, or too much delay. So you can either measure its one side or round trip. Lots and lots of OAM kind of turns out to be a pretty big topic because there's just so many ways you can measure the circuit. It ends up being many lines of config because it really depends on what you want to do and what you need to prove your service is capable of. So that means a lot of different kinds of config. And I can't help but notice too that OAM is strangely absent from the curriculum. So I have a feeling that this is where it would fall under the curriculum because I really kind of can't believe that it wouldn't be on the test at all for it being such a big part of my professional experience working for a service provider. So when I'm done with this here, I'm going to spend some time on OAM and set it up in the lab and demo that. So I think actually I am pretty much done with this lab. So where we left off last video, I was actually just trying to get end-to-end connectivity from CE devices in this topology, since this is a L3 VPN through a service provider network meant to serve customers. I set up 4 customers here, and then we're going to see if they can contact each other. So this would be like a, you know, if it was a bank and they had a branch in Pointtopoint, Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and Waukesha, Wisconsin, they would all connect up to the service provider, and the service provider would use that L3 VPN to give them confidential, protected service to all of their branch locations, so they didn't have to worry about that traffic being able to be sniffed out or intercepted. It's all within the VPN, the L3 VPN, and there's no risk of it being, I mean, there's kind of service providers kind of get a bad rap sometimes. You know, they're kind of viewed as something that's going to be spying on your traffic and all that sort of thing. But at least in my experience, and then if you think about it, yeah, like the service provider needs to sell you stuff, and a lot of what customers want is security of their information. They want it to be locked down and protected. So guess what the service provider is going to do? They're going to give you that security. They're going to put it in a VPN, make sure it's encrypted, and pass it securely through the public network. That's why you buy certain services from the service provider so that you don't have to string up your own network to connect your bank location in Manitowoc to your bank location in Pewaukee. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to check that message I got quick. Oh, okay, yeah, I signed up for a kind of an independent COVID-19 tracking thing that just asks you how you're doing every week. All right, so we're going to be, we're going to be, so where we left off, we don't have the ability to ping across the wire. So let's figure that out. So across the wire, it does go into a VPN. So kind of what I was thinking is maybe those links don't need to be, oops. Oh, shoot. And this is a kind of, it had been getting more and more rare. It looks like it unfortunately reared its ugly head again. So I'm just going to do a reboot, unfortunately, because it looks like the GNS bug where your CLI prompt goes away and doesn't come back is unfortunately triggered on router 1. I'll try it again. I'll make sure I clicked inside. Yep, I did. I certainly did all I can do. So let's reboot that router. Or let's just reboot the whole thing. I find that's generally a bit faster if you just reboot the GNS VM than if you reboot VMs inside the GNS VM. Oops, and I stopped the share by accident. I wish I could get the toolbar to be something more useful. Okay, there we go. So just got to hit escape if I want it back, but I don't want it back. One of the things I've been trying to do, and let me know in the comments below if you can help me out with this, is add another hard drive to my server. Unfortunately, I've been having trouble with that. It's I don't think the disk is like formatted correctly, or maybe it's just not a compatible disk or something, but I've been having a kind of a heck of a time with that, and I thought that would be really nice and easy, so kind of not sure where I'm going wrong with that. But it would be nice to get the extra, I think it's just a 500 gig drive, but even that I think would be nice to have. All right, so we're rebooting the VM. All right, so we'll kind of just have to wait for that to come back up. Yeah, I do like to see the meeting controls because I can see my microphone. I wish I could just stick my microphone right here so I can see whether it's going or not. I think I'll take kind of, because this is kind of a little bit of downtime, so take advantage of this extra time I've got here to, keep looking at if there's a way to see your mic. Zoom, see your microphone in green to know if you are talking or not. All right, so here's 10 Zoom tricks. So maybe it's a trick. Enter silently, change, oops. I don't know how I did that, but I did. It'd be nice if I could do that intentionally. Even unmute. Nope, I don't see that. I mean, I don't understand why that feature is not there. Maybe it's just,
you have to select the,
maybe it's just really hard to program in, because you would think like one of the main features you would want in a software like this is a thing that shows up on your screen here so you can always see it, that tells you whether or not your microphone is actually picking you up. Like, I would think that that would be one of the first features they would add in there, so that you can tell, oh no, the microphone is just gray, it's not lighting up in green as I can see it here. I don't think you can see it here if you're watching this, but I don't understand why this is not more prominent. Oh, and it looks like the volume of the mic got turned way down too. I'm not sure how that happened, but okay, it's up now. So I think everything is much better right now. So maybe it's in the general settings. Nope. Yeah, I don't see anything about that, unfortunately. So turn off my video when joining. Yeah, I don't see anything that would do that. I mean, it's so strange to me, because you would think that one of the most important things would be to know whether or not you can be heard or not. So if you have like a little image pop up of your microphone, and then you can see if it's highlighting in green or not, that would do that. So I don't understand why that is not kind of a default feature in most video conferencing tools. I guess I would think that, oh, it's just because that's hard to program in for some reason. Oops. Okay, so the reboot has completed. So let's see if I can get into router 1 now. And it will take some time for that to come up, I believe. Oh, yep, so it's going to take some time for router 1 to come up. We'll just watch it boot up. It looks like I did have some accessibility options. But yeah, we're just going to be watching R1 boot up. Oops. Here we go. Okay, it's still working. Aha, so that wasn't very slow at all. That was really perfect. Let's see if it preserved the configuration. And it did. Okay, so yeah, now I think this neighbor statement may not need to be in there. Let's look up a L3 VPN example. So configuring MPLS-based L3 VPNs. So, so yeah, here's a BGP connection, and this is a internal connection. I don't see an external connection. let's see here. So Juniper, PE, CE, L3 VPN. Oh, sorry. L3 VPN. Here we go. This looks right. And this is one I did before I was taking videos. I've made it all the way through this example. So yep, this looks perfect. So this is the exact kind of configuration we're going to need. Oh, so it looks like we've got an internal. Aha, but I think I remember they had two different kinds of connections. They had one that used BGP and one that used eBGP. So I don't remember which example it was I did. I think I'm going to go back through my notes and try to pull that up. So it's going to be under VPNs. It's going to be under layer 3 VPNs. And I think it's going to be right here. Okay, so yeah, this is what I was looking at. So there's sham links. All right, well, I'm kind of tempted to just try to figure it out myself. Let's see if this external BGP connection does need to be outside. We can see that it is meant to hook up to the Cisco. Let's just focus on trying to ping across the link. Okay, so the link is up. Everything looks good with that, but 120.168.2.1, we can't ping. So obviously there's an issue. I think there's an issue with the wiring. So yeah, this is going to be ETH10, which is ETH8. And we can see that it's configured on ETH9. So this wiring is backwards. All right, so 9 goes up here. 10 goes down there. Perfect. There we go. So now everything's looking good. Hopefully our routing table looks a lot better. Oops, so routing table doesn't look any better, but that's because sure enough, it's going to, it is going to need a BGP neighborship. So let's see if those BGP neighborships are going to come up. So we do have a BGP neighborship established. So I do believe that this one is all good to go. We will be able to export routes out into BGP, but for now, let's just get the BGP neighborship to the other Cisco device into established. Just want to see what it looks like here. So yep, it's up here as well. So let's work on the other Cisco. Okay, so this needs IP addressing, the whole 9 yards. Oops, and it's going to be configured terminal. And everything that I type is going to go directly into the running config. So there's no safeties. It's a lot more risky to work on this type of operating system. And I've forgotten where it needs to go. Oh, it's going to be 1.2. Oh yeah, everything's a little bit different because it's different across vendors. All right, but it's in active state. Let's see if it can ping across the wire. Aha, we don't even need to because we got these nice messages in Cisco that alert us to what's happening at any time. We can get those in Juniper as well. We've just got to enable them through the monitor start messages. All right, but we're all good to go now. So we've got 2 more in established. It looks like we've got another BGP neighborship that needs to come up that is having difficulty. So oops, and it looks like it's because we don't have a route to that host. I'm kind of curious where that host is meant to be. It looks like it's meant to be on router 3. Yep, so this is where it's meant to be. So let's do a trace route to see why it can't get there. So it's just straight up got no route to that host at all. So let's go to router 3 and see how it's expected to receive it. Is it expected to be sent out through the IGP? Well, obviously it would be. I mean, it could be. Let's just take a look. So this is going to be configured on the loopback interface here. Perfect. And then we've got the IGP configuration. We're going to use ISIS. So let's check that and see if it's, yep, so it is going to be included in ISIS. Let's see if that route made it across to router 6. Or sorry, not router 6. Let's check the router 2 Juniper across the link and see if that route made it there. Nope, so it didn't even make it across the link, even though it is set up with ISIS. So that leads me to believe that maybe the ISIS adjacency is down. Yep, so we've got 0 ISIS adjacencies. Let's see if there's one from router 1 to router 2, or if this is a problem everywhere. Aha, so we've got adjacencies from router 1 to router 2, but our ISIS adjacency between router 2 and router 3 is having some issues. So configuration protocols ISIS on router 3. So everything looks good. We've got level 1 disabled, which is interesting. Okay, same thing here. We do have the interfaces set up. Let's see if I can just ping straight across the wire. So let's do a show configuration ints LO0, or sorry, AE0, and then ping across the wire. So same problem, we've got no route to host for 120.168.104.2. So that's obviously going to be a pretty big problem because we don't have a direct route. We should have a direct route, but we don't. So if I do show route protocol direct, we've got routes for LO0, and then the routes for the interfaces going over to router 1, but we're missing the routes from the aggregated Ethernet interfaces. So those have to be showing up as direct routes in order for them to be propagated through a dynamic routing protocol. They have to appear as a direct route first. So let's figure out why that is an issue. Oh, so it looks like they're down. So I guess I'm not sure why they're down. Let's do a show ints. Physical link is down. That's interesting. So it looks like it might even be just a virtualization problem. Oh, I think I know what the issue might be. Yeah, so I think we set up device count to be 5. So I think the device count, I mean, what I thought the device count was AE0, you can't have more than 5. You can have 0 through 4, but you can't have number 5 because that would be the 6th port channel. You get 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But to add 5, that would be 6 total. So, but I think what it might be actually is the number of links you can add to a port channel. So you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 links. So I'm going to try bumping this up to 8, and hopefully that fixes the issue. Nope, so it's still down. That's kind of what I thought is it wouldn't make an issue, make a difference. We can roll that back or just leave it. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna roll it back just to demo again just how easy it is to roll back configuration. Really nice aspect of Juniper's. I think what the problem might be is that they're not hooked up correctly across the devices. Oops, we're going to need to match AE. There we go. So now Okay, well, that looks fine. So yeah, I'm not sure why these are down. So one thing we can do, which is a really good thing that will help during the exam, is do edit interfaces, AE0, and we can do set trace options, flag, and then we can do all, and then set trace options, file, oops, why can't I set a file? Oh, trace file. What? Why is this different than it usually is? Okay, well, I don't understand why it's behaving differently than it usually does. Usually get the option to set the flag and to set the file. But maybe if I go up, okay, so you only get the option to set the file at the edit interfaces hierarchy. But once you do a specific interface, you can set flags there, but you can't set a file for a specific interface. So let's call it T shoot ints. And then let's do another one for AE0, or sorry, AE1. Perfect. Commit and quit, and then we'll do a monitor start on this tshoot ints file. And hopefully we'll get some more insight into what is happening. Let's go into configure private again. We'll do, oops, we'll do set int AE0 disable, commit. So hopefully that, yes, so it will, we got our trace options output back. So lots and lots of outputs, more than we definitely need, but oh yeah, because that's gonna affect RSVP, it's gonna affect all sorts of stuff, just the fact that the port is admin down now. But it looks like that's done chattering, so let's bring it back up and hopefully we can get some information about why it went into disabled state. Or not disabled state, but why it never went back all the way up. Because we can see it's up, but it went down. So we'll be able to see that in the output here. So yep, this looks like pretty useful output. If it were secure CRT, I could just grab the whole screen, do it really nice and easy. So got to make sure not to forget that I can do that during the exam. For now, I think I'm going to try to, here we go, and then go monitor stop. And you can just do monitor stop and it'll stop it for everything. And then I'm just going to grab what looks like will be relevant config. Well, I'll just grab it all actually. So I'm going to grab here, and then I'll open Notepad++ to make it easier for me. This is something I can definitely do on the test as well. All right. So look at this. Look at this. Reset ag max links. Resetting ag max links. So already we're getting information that's going to be, I think, pretty useful. So let's just look for ag. So we got 3 matches. Oh, and it's just all that one line. So it looks like it's calling out to these interfaces specifically, saying that they're childs, but it's saying that add child distribution list not added to child entry. So that doesn't sound right. And here it says link AE not a child of any ATS interface. So that sounds like it could be a problem as well. So let's compare the configuration of the port channel. Oh, actually, none of the port channels. Is this a port channel? Let's look on router 1 and see if there's any problems. And first of all, see if there's a port channel in there. I actually forgot. So show inst terse pipe match AE. Oh yeah, so there's not even a port channel that we can compare it to. It's just these are the only port channels, and all of these port channels are down. So we're going to need to figure out why they're down. I'm going to bump up the device count on router 2 and router 3 just because I don't think there's any sort of penalty for having it too high, but of course there is a penalty for having it too low. Oops, and it's not letting me do it. Okay, there we go. Oops. There we go. Oops. Okay, perfect. So configure private. Okay, so that'll make sure that that's not an issue. It's well over the amount that we're actually using, even if it applies to links. And if it does apply to how many AE interfaces you can have, which I believe is how it works, then we're certainly in the clear. But let's take a look at that configuration in some more detail. So we've got AE1, got a number of things going on here. So it looks like we've got LACP active on this side. Let's see what LACP is set to on the other side. So let's see here, LACP. Aha, so LACP is set to active on both sides. I don't think that's possible. Yeah, I don't think you can have that config. I think one side has to be passive if another one's active. So let's set this router, this is router 3, to be the passive side. So we'll delete all right, so now we'll see if this AE0 has a better time than the other one. So show interfaces terse, pipe match AE. Oh, it looks like it's still down. We can try bouncing the interface. Okay, and then we'll get more output. Oh, I did a monitor stop actually, so we're not gonna be able to see more output. Oops, and it looks like I never committed that, so I'm not gonna discard it, and I'm gonna commit and quit, and then I'll start that monitor again. Yep, so it looks like it's still down. And I'll do the monitor start on that file again. All right, and let's look at the configuration some more. So now we've got LACP passive on this side. Okay, so let's just see more information about LACP. So I remember this part. This was a part of the, okay, it's rolling it over to the next file. It's doing a bring buffer on it. So once that has been created again, because it deleted it, it renamed it to .1 or whatever, if it's keeping a persistent record of the old files. But once it's doing that, yep, it's been created. So now we're going to get our messages again. Collecting zombies. So I would like to do a little bit of a brush up on LACP, because this was a big topic on other exams like the CCNP that I passed. So I just need to do a quick brush up on it, will all come flooding back to me. And so just kind of off the top of my head, I thought I was going down the right path, but obviously that did not work. So this is going to be high availability, aggregated Ethernet. So let's learn more about LACP. Here we go. So configuring aggregated Ethernet interfaces and LACP. So configuring LACP for aggregated Ethernet interfaces. For aggregated Ethernet interfaces, you can configure Link Aggregation Control Protocol, LACP. LACP is one method of bundling several physical interfaces to form one logical interface. You can configure both VLAN tagged and untagged aggregated Ethernet with or without LACP enabled. So let's take a look at the configurations. So we've got a lot of different kinds. We've got active and we got passive. And we can set the interval. But hopefully they're going to give us a explanation about whether you need to configure one side active and one side passive, or both sides active. So hopefully they'll give us like a topology, point-to-point topology. Nope, so it looks like we don't get anything like that. So we do have an example here, but so here we've got a minimum links. So let's check that configuration. Maybe they have a setting there that's not going to work. So nope, we don't have anything like that. We do have link speed 1 gig. So maybe it's not compatible with that setting. But we do have the output here. And from what I could see there, it's got, the issues are going to be like this here, we got a warning and we got distribution list not added. So it's kind of a cryptic message, but I think this is probably yeah, so maybe if I set a minimum links value or something like that, because it's saying that in here to do that. So I'll try that quick, and then I'm gonna need to stop the video. So let me try that. Okay, so we still got the issues here. Fortunately, I'm gonna have to stop the video a little bit short. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and I've got a different screen than I'm used to seeing. I will click yes.